Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to pick up off on yesterday's video that we talked about, what's more important to track? Is it steps or is it calorie burn? And what we talked about at the end of the day is your calorie burn is going to determine what your body weight is, what your fat loss rate is, kind of all those different numbers and stats that you really care about the most. The steps are just a method to get to the calorie burn. So, what we talked about is that all calories aren't created equal. And so I'm going to show some different examples here in a second, but so I shouldn't say all calories aren't created equal, but you can't get to the same things at the same levels with the same exercises. Let's go with that tongue twister. So basically what I mean is like this. You can take the same person and have the same exact, say 10,000 steps on a Sunday and 10,000 steps on a Monday. On that Sunday, maybe they only burned, say, 2,100 calories, but on that Monday, they had a gym workout, they had some other things, still the same 10,000 steps, and maybe they burned like 2,600 calories. Now, the difference of that might not seem like a ton, but that 500 calories over the course of 7 days in a week, that equals 3,500 calories, which, if you've listened to anything over this time, it equals 1 pound of fat loss. So if you can create 1 pound of fat loss each week from your nutrition, and then an additional pound each week from your exercise, you're now looking at like a 2 pound a week rate, which is sustainable and maintainable basically until you get to like a healthy body fat percentage. Then the rate will start slowing down, and you probably should, because at that point you want to start focusing really on sustaining muscle and all that other stuff, which is why we talk about protein and eating enough calories and some of those other things in other videos. So what I want to talk about now, just on the tail end of like my workout and finishing up, is like this. So if we take like your smartwatch like stats page, so if it's on Apple, you're gonna want to go to Apple Health, not the Apple Fitness. And the reason being is because it's gonna give you a little bit better stats like in this range. But on this, when you're looking at graphs, so like this part here, you need to go into Apple Fitness. I'm sorry, anybody who knows me, I hate Apple. It's stupid. It's not compatible with basically anything else, and it's always got an extra step to things. But you guys can always find your stats that you need, and this is what we're looking for. Total calories, active calories, and then your graphs here. If you're on Fitbit, it's right there on the main page. If you use a MazFit, it's on the first page. Samsung Health, it's on that first page. So unless you're an Apple person, it's one click away. So this is what I want to show you though. So this is example number one. So total calories burned is 2,500 calories for the day. The active calories that it shows is 750. What I also want to make note of here, that difference of those calories, that's your BMR. So what that stands for is basal metabolic rate. It's basically the rate or how much energy your body needs to sustain itself on a daily basis. So depending on what you weigh, how much muscle, your body has a certain rate of what it's going to burn every single day, even if you're just at rest laying in bed. That's what BMR equals. So what I want to go with here is example one and example two. This person right here looks like these bar graphs all in between throughout the day are a lot higher than this one, right? So the other thing I want to show you is like on this, when we get to the end of the workout here, it looks like those spikes are a lot higher than on this one, right? But what I want to make note of is up here, when you're looking at this, this says 80 calories. And so what you want to look at on that far left-hand side of your graph is where does your graph peak out for the day? Because what you're looking at here is this one peaks out at 80, this one peaks out at 120. So what you're seeing here is actually just a more zoomed out view. So you're actually getting higher calorie burn here throughout the day in frequency than this one, but you're actually hitting a higher peak. So it has to zoom out to capture all your awesomeness, okay? So when you're looking at that, this is actually a better day than this one. The next thing I want to show you is this person here, when they woke up in the morning, they did something to get their heart rate accelerated. It might have been, doing 100 jumping jacks and 100 crunches on the ground. It might have been going for a mile walk before breakfast. It might have been meeting up with coworkers, 20, 30 minutes early in the parking lot and going for a walk before work. So it could be any of those different things. The key is they got their heart rate going in the morning. And what you'll see with those people is when they get their heart rate going in the morning, it actually will have a longer tail that carries on to say like 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10, and you'll actually see that tail kind of taper off as opposed to everybody else who's just like flatline throughout their workday. The next thing I want to show you is their workout here. This person shows up, didn't get a warm up in at all. This is their first 15 minutes of activity here. We're seeing just a little bit of elevated heart rate. This is the middle of their workout, this big graph here. This is the last kind of finisher and tail end of their workout, and this is their drive home, and that's basically the rest of their night. 9 p.m. there, I put a little sex, so you have a little bit of a, 3.5 minute heart spike there. So the next one here, I want to give you this example. This person got their heart rate up in the morning. It looks like these graphs are a little bit lower throughout the day, but they're really actually not, because again, this is a zoomed out view. We get to lunchtime, they walked a little bit before their meal, they walked a little bit after their meal. Their heart rate only got down just a little bit though during their meal. So they basically got like a 30-minute window of an elevated heart rate. The next thing is when they got to their workout, they started with a warm up. So by the time they got to the first 15 minutes of their workout, they had already had 5 to 10 minutes already built in of a warm up. Their heart rate was already elevated. The beginning of their workout, their heart rate basically stayed the same. When they get to the peak of their workout, they have a little bit of an extra spike here. This is their finisher, and now this is their heart rate on the way home. Still elevated throughout the day, and then there's the 3.5 minutes of sex there at the end of the night. Whoa, people are gonna judge me. Anyway, when we get to this point, guys, what you wanna see is like your heart rates are creating like little like downtown city zones of blocks. You know, you're seeing like peaks, 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 peaks. If you're seeing like one little peak, a big spike, and a peak back down, you're not doing a warm up, you're not doing a solid finisher, and what you're missing out on is maybe an extra 100, 200, 250 calories in the day that you could be burning just in your workout time. Then if you start incorporating these lunchtime and morning walks and stuff like that, you're now talking about another probably 200, 250. So now we're talking about an extra pound a week, and now between all that stuff, you're looking like 3 pounds a week if you can create like 500 calorie deficit from your nutrition, if you can create 500 calorie deficit for basically like your daily, you know, like walks and avoiding different things like that. And then if you get your finishers and your warm-ups a little bit more efficient and getting your heart rate up, who knows? You might actually love what you see. You might be super pumped. You might be proud of yourself. And maybe you're shooting videos in a year and telling the same story. So guys, just keep it up. If you're not seeing the results you want, just put in a little bit more effort, piggyback on what you're already doing awesome, and just make it a little bit better. It doesn't create a bunch of new steps. It just creates like being more efficient and more effective in the time that you do have. So make the best of what you have. See you guys.